You just solved a problem at work that most people couldn't touch. You read the room in seconds. You remember names, numbers, dates. Everyone calls you the smart one. And yet your bank account doesn't know any of that. It looks the same as it did 5 years ago. Maybe worse. How does that happen? You'd expect intelligence to protect you from bad decisions. It doesn't. Not with money. In 2016, a massive study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences tracked how much of a person's income could be explained by raw intelligence. The answer stunned even the researchers. About 1 to 2%, not the 25% most people guess, not even close. The trait that actually predicted financial success wasn't IQ at all. It was conscientiousness. The quiet, boring habit of following through. So if intelligence isn't the deciding factor, what is going wrong in your brain when you're smart and still broke? The answer is stranger than a lack of knowledge. Your brain isn't built to handle money the way it handles a spreadsheet. Here's the first crack in the armor. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman, working with his partner Amos Tversky, discovered something in the 1970s that rewired how we understand decisions. They called it loss aversion. Losing $100 doesn't just feel bad, it feels roughly twice as bad as gaining $100 feels good. Your brain weighs losses on a different scale than gains. Completely different. That means every financial decision you make is quietly rigged before you even start thinking it through. You feel this every day without noticing. You keep a losing investment because selling it makes the loss real. You avoid checking your accounts after a bad week. None of that is stupidity. It's architecture. Ancient architecture, built for a world where losing food or shelter could kill you. Your brain still runs that code, even now. Even in a world of direct deposits and credit scores. But loss aversion is only half of it. The other half is worse, because it hides inside your confidence. Psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger ran an experiment in the 1990s that became famous for an uncomfortable reason. People who performed the worst on a task were often the most confident they'd done well. But here's the twist nobody talks about. The effect doesn't disappear once you're smart. It just moves. A brilliant engineer can be wildly overconfident about investing. A gifted doctor can be blindsided by a bad business deal. Expertise in one room doesn't transfer to the next room. Your brain doesn't send a memo saying, "Caution, you're now outside your specialty." It just keeps talking in the same confident voice. That's the trap. You've spent years being right. Right about work, right about arguments, right about decisions that made you successful. So, when a financial choice shows up, dressed in the same certainty, you don't slow down and check it. You trust the voice that's usually correct. Except this time, the voice is guessing. Think about the modern version of this. You've seen a chart trending upward and felt certain you understood why. You've talked yourself into a purchase using logic that sounded airtight in the moment. That confidence isn't arrogance. It's the same wiring that makes you good at your job, misfiring in a domain it was never built for. Here's where it gets stranger. Smart people aren't just vulnerable to these biases. They're better at justifying them. A higher intelligence gives you more tools to defend a decision after you've already made it emotionally. You don't outthink your bias. You out-argue your doubt. So the picture starts to come together. Loss aversion warps how you weigh risk. Overconfidence convinces you that you're the exception. And intelligence, instead of catching the error, builds a more convincing case for it. 3 separate forces, working together, quietly, in the background, every single time you make a financial choice. None of this means intelligence is useless. It means intelligence was never the tool for this particular job. Wealth isn't built by outthinking the market or out-arguing your own doubts. It's built through decision rules made in advance, before emotion shows up to hijack the moment. Automatic transfers, boring, repeated habits, conscientiousness, not cleverness. The same trait that quietly outperformed IQ in that 2016 study. So, the next time your bank account feels like a mystery, ask yourself something different. Not, "Why can't I figure this out?" You already can. Ask instead, what decision did I make automatically, without a rule in place to stop me? That single question does more for your financial life than any amount of raw intelligence ever will. You solved the problem at work today in seconds. Your brain is fast, sharp, capable. But your bank account was never asking for a smarter answer. It was asking for a steadier one.